we want to take some time to answer the email questions that you've sent in. This is from Lou Pat, who says, in John 14:15, Jesus said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Is he referring to all the commandments in the first 5 books of the Bible? Boy, I hope
he says, a new commandment I give you, and my commandments are not grievous, that you love one another.
Yeah.
And the Apostle Paul said, if those that love fulfill all the law. That's what he's talking about, is love one another. You can't, he's not saying keep the entire Levitical code. That's not what he's saying. If you love me, you love each other. That's it.
This is Marlene Pat, who says, is it okay to date a divorced guy? He's a Christian. His wife left him, and they have 3 kids. I really like him, but please advise me on what the Bible says about this situation. I would really appreciate it.
You know, there's what's called a Pauline privilege, and it says that if an unbelieving spouse is pleased to depart, let him depart. The brother or sister is not bound in that case. Now, I don't know how come your boyfriend there got divorced. You said his wife left him. So if the wife leaves and he's a Christian, the big thing you want to do is determine, does he know the Lord? He may be a very charming, attractive human being, but does he know the Lord? That's where you start. Beyond that, if she left, you know, he's not bound, and you're free to, you know, get together with him. But, you know, what does the Bible say about dating? There wasn't dating in the Bible. Parents chose spouses for their children, and that's the way it worked out. And other than that, if you're a conqueror, you saw a woman you liked and you took her. They wasn't in this dating stuff.
Dragging her behind the horse.
That's right. By her hair and dragging her into your cave. That's the deal. He is not bound to his spouse if the spouse departed. You know, assuming she's an unbelieving spouse. That's the rule I can tell you. All right.
This is Karen, who says, regarding pre-trib and post-trib, I think you hope for post-trib, but prepare for pre-trib, but prepare for post-trib. My problem is, how do we prepare for it? What do we do to be ready for the persecution the Bible says we must go through? Or do we just have faith and trust God to take care of us?
Corey Servas was one of the most wonderful Christians who's ever lived. She was on this program, and she spoke for about 2 minutes, and tears started coming to my eyes. She was so powerful. She was in a German concentration camp. She saw her sister die because of the cruelty. Oh, yeah, it was terrible what they did to her. The Dutch, who had helped the Jews, were interred. And she said her father said to her, Corey, you remember when we took a trip? And she said, yes. She said, well, I had a ticket for you, and when we needed a ticket to get on the train, I gave it to you. And he said, that's what God will do. When you need the power and need the strength, God will give it to you. You don't have to worry about it in advance. And I think that's the answer. We can spend all this time worrying about prophecy, which most people don't understand anyhow. And I think that's a mistake. The Bible says, occupy till I come. Let's spend our time winning people to Jesus, occupied in his work, helping the poor and the needy. And if some tragedy takes place on earth, he's going to give us the grace to take care of it. But I wouldn't worry about it. All right?
This is Katrina, who says, I love the Lord, and I know in order to be obedient to him, I must love others, and I want to. I pray every morning for Jesus to fill my heart with his love and compassion and to see others as he sees them, but I still struggle. I also find it difficult to share the gospel with others. What am I missing? My heart's desire is to please God, but I do not always want to please people.
Well, I don't know where you've grown up. I dare say that you've had a sheltered background, and you probably came from a family that didn't socialize much. And I recommend that you get out to a church or a social group or some other organization where people are mingling and get to know them. And be more, right now you're basically scared of people and you're concerned about what they'll think about you. And I think that's the important thing. But many people are very timid about sharing the gospel. They're very timid about, but it's like selling. They're afraid to make a sale. They wouldn't make good salespeople.
Don't close the deal.
They wouldn't close the deal. And you know, you've got to ask for the order, and it takes a bold person to ask for the order. But I think mingle with people, you know, mingle with people, get to know people, and don't be so concerned about, am I going to make sure they get to heaven or something. Just get to know them as human beings and listen to their good points and see what's good about them and be friendly to them and let them be friendly to you. I think that's where you start. All right?
Pat, this is Sherry who says, Jesus says to give to all who ask. Since that's impossible for me, how am I to respond to this command?
Well, he didn't say all. He said to those who ask. And if somebody comes to you and asks for something, I think you're not approached that often. I don't know. None of us are. And if somebody has a need, see if you can help them. I think, you know, we don't have great numbers of beggars on the streets like you do in poor countries. So I don't think, you know, you don't have to give to everybody in the world that's got a need.
Sometimes giving isn't monetary. I think we often just lock onto that, and we think I have to be able to give money, but you can give time, you can give attention, you can give caring to people, and I think that's what Jesus meant too, don't you?
Absolutely. Love, compassion. But I think he was primarily talking about money, but people are, I mean, in a society where there are a bunch of beggars running around, but we don't have that here in this country, so that's not a concern of most of you. But if somebody has a need, but I will put a caveat in there. If you've got some deadbeat relative who is tapping you all the time for money, you're an enabler, and don't do that. I mean, you've got to say no. And furthermore, if somebody asks you for a loan, you're not a bank. And so keep that in mind. You're not a lending institution. Give help. I remember I got approached by somebody on the streets of New York, you know, oh, I've got to go. They always wanted to go to New Jersey. That was the way.
I've had that happen here with people who want to go to North Carolina and they need gas for the car.
That's right. Well, all they wanted to do was buy a drink. Is what it amounted to. That was enough for a shot of whiskey. So I said to this gentleman, I tell you what I want to do. Oh, he said, I need food or something. I said, all right. There's the automat across the street. Let's go over there and I'll buy you lunch. And I'll sit down while you eat it. The guy looked at me like, you know,
where's my money?
Who are you kidding? I want to get a drink. I don't want to go to the automat. I just lied. Well, I caught him in his lies. So you've got to be careful. Don't be used, but let the Lord lead you. But have a generous spirit. Have a generous spirit. God will bless those whose hearts are generous. The bountiful soul shall have bounty given to him. He who waters shall be watered back again. So give and it'll be given unto you, and it's more blessed to give than to receive. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Well, we're grateful for those questions. We love to hear from you.